Today, we are diving deep into a business plan that is, frankly, staggering in its ambition. We're talking about a story that pulls together a super disciplined AI trading bot, Japanese geopolitics, supposed ties to royalty, and a grand vision to completely reshape the future of Vietnam. This isn't just a pitch for money, it's a pitch for an entire nation.
And this quote from the source material, it really says it all. Right from the get-go, they're telling us we're not talking about your average startup here. The scale of this ambition is national, maybe even geopolitical.
Okay, so to get our heads around this whole thing, we're going to break it down into 4 main parts. First, we'll look at that huge grand vision. Then, we'll get into the engine that's supposed to power it all. After that, we'll try to untangle its long and pretty complicated history. And finally, we'll look at what they're actually promising people.
So let's start with that big picture. The core claim here is that this is not just another company trying to make a buck. No, this is framed as a project with a mission that's fundamentally tied to the future of Vietnam itself.
And here it is, the end goal presented in the source material. Rich people, strong country. The project's success is directly linked to the prosperity of the Vietnamese people. The idea is that economic growth is the path to national strength.
And the strategy to pull this off? Well, it all hinges on this absolutely massive number. $600 billion. So you have to ask, where in the world does a number like that come from?
Well, according to the presentation, this isn't the project's own money. It's a massive pool of capital that Japan apparently pledged to invest across Southeast Asia. The entire strategy, then, is to position Vietnam to catch the lion's share of that investment.
So you see what they're trying to do? They're trying to create this perfect feedback loop. The plan is to become the ideal vehicle for all that Japanese investment, which in turn would boost Vietnam's economy. A strong economy means political stability, and that makes Vietnam an even safer, more attractive place for that huge investment. See? It just feeds itself. Okay, that is a huge vision. I mean, it's massive. But it all begs the question, how do you generate the kind of money you need to even play in a geopolitical sandbox like that? What's the actual engine driving this whole machine?
And that's really the fundamental question, right? Because the speaker is pretty upfront that the project started with, and I'm quoting them here, nothing. So without a giant pile of seed money, how do you even get started?
The answer, and this is pretty fascinating, starts with a philosophy, all wrapped up in this Vietnamese proverb. It's this idea of creating value from your intellect and your strategy, not from having a bunch of cash to start with. Use your brains to attract the capital, not the other way around.
And here we go. This is the 21st century version of that proverb. The intellect they're talking about is an algorithm. The absolute core of this whole operation is a proprietary AI trading bot that's been designed to pull some serious returns out of the financial markets.
Now this slide is absolutely key to understanding their whole mindset. They draw this super clear, bright line. Humans are flawed. We're driven by greed, by fear. We hang on to losing trades when we shouldn't. We forget to set our stop losses. We act on emotion. The AI, they claim, is pure, cold discipline. It follows the rules perfectly, every single time. And this complete faith in algorithmic discipline, it represents a major pivot. The speaker is very explicit that the project's old philosophy was based on love and trust. Not anymore. The new mantra is discipline is strength, which is a perfect reflection of their total reliance on this unemotional, rule-based AI engine. So we've got the vision, and we've got the engine. But here's the thing. According to the source, this project didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's supposedly the result of decades of groundwork, setbacks, and international partnerships.
And man, this timeline from the source material is a real roller coaster. It apparently kicks off way back in 1979 with a Japanese partner company. Then you fast forward to 2015, a Vietnamese entity gets set up as a test of faith. But then, bam! Around 2020, the whole thing nearly implodes. The presentation talks about a massive cash flow crisis, blaming it on COVID and a failed attempt to move money from a London account. And that crisis leads directly to where they are today, relaunching with this new discipline-first philosophy.
Okay, so after all that history, all that vision, how does this actually translate into a real product? What are they asking people to put their money into? What's the tangible opportunity here?
One of the core models is called Who Takes Care of Your Wallet? And the way it's presented is actually pretty clever. Here's the breakdown. A client puts their own money into a long-term bank savings account. The project company then takes just the small upfront interest payment from the bank, like, say, 2%.
They use that interest as the capital for the AI bot to trade with. The goal? To multiply that interest payment 4 times in a single month and then share the profits. And the critical part they emphasize is that the client's original money is never touched. It just stays safe in their own bank account.
Now, to make all of this really work on a much larger scale, the project has a very specific and very urgent financial target they need to hit.
And this is where it all comes full circle. That billion-dollar target, it's not just some random business goal. It's the key that unlocks that whole geopolitical strategy we talked about. The speaker claims that before they can bring in $1 billion from their Japanese partners, their company first has to show $1 billion in legitimate revenue. And why? Well, because moving that much money into a small company could look a lot like money laundering. So this revenue goal is presented as the final hurdle to unlocking the entire plan.
So, when you boil it all down, the pitch to people who might want to join is pretty multi-layered. Yeah, it's about the chance for high returns from the AI. They also talk about protecting your capital with products linked to life insurance. But the real hook, the core appeal, goes way beyond just money. It's an invitation to be part of something huge, a project of national significance, with the promise of future access to an entire ecosystem of stuff, goods, services, even real estate.
So what do we make of all this? The presentation lays out this incredible story of AI, geopolitics, and national destiny. It is a meticulous, multi-decade roadmap for prosperity. But, let's be honest, it's a roadmap where the engine is a high-frequency trading bot and the fuel is a massive and so far unsecured foreign investment. And that leaves us with the central question, doesn't it? Can a nation's economic future truly be built on the discipline of an algorithm? That, right there, is what this entire project is betting on.